Welcome, I'm Darren, and I'll be your guide today as I rank the 1995-96 NBA expansion cards celebrating the Toronto Raptors and the Vancouver Grizzlies. Specifically, in that year, 1995-96, that was the debut of both franchises, and the NBA card companies wanted to celebrate that by showcasing the new players on the teams with really cool looking cards, specially designed around celebrating these new franchises. And in some cases, that meant that both Damon Stoudemire and Big Country Reeves were among the players showcased, but in other cases, they didn't show up. It was just the players from the expansion draft who were part of it. But that was the thing, was it was an opportunity to really play around with the designs and celebrate how exciting these new franchises were going to be. And it's surprising to me that only 6 sets included this. I mean, Upper Deck didn't do anything. Upper Deck, SP Championship, Collector's Choice, none of those sets did anything to celebrate the new franchises. But even with the other companies, whether it was EXL or Topps Gallery, Flair, they didn't bother to do it there either. Only in 6 cases, or in 6 sets, did they do it, and it's actually only 5 and change. But still, what I love about this is I'd say it's a ranking because I'm looking at all 6, but it's really a top 5 and an honorable mention. They're all really good to great designs. That's the fun of it. And actually, before I get into it, I want to note something, which is that for me, I was collecting Bears and Broncos cards, collecting the whole set for both teams, or the whole all sets for both teams. But by 1995, I was still pretty young, and so the idea, both those franchises went all the way back to the 60s to the 20s. The idea of collecting all that far back was something that didn't make sense to me at the time. And so the idea that I could collect the Carolina Panthers or the Toronto Raptors starting at the beginning and moving forward, I loved that idea. So I started to collect both of those teams. I am still collecting the Panthers, but in 95, 96, 97, I was scaling back basketball card collecting because I had to refine my collecting to keep up with it. And so unfortunately, while I did collect during the Damon Stoudemire and the Marcus Camby years, by the time we get to McGrady and Vince Carter, I'd abandoned collecting the Toronto Raptors. But you're going to see with these cards why I was so entranced in collecting this new team, because these cards look great. And to give you an idea, I'm going to show you the low water mark first, which is the honorable mention, which is Topps. And this card it looks really good. I don't want to say it looks great, because it's got that white border, and the white border holds it back. Because otherwise, I mean, you look at this card and it's got the rock behind the player. It has the logo down at the bottom with the text running up that just looks so refined, so well crafted. I love how it looks. And frankly, if it didn't have the white border, it would help a lot. But even with the white border, you go through the 1995 Topps set, and then all of a sudden this card pops up and it just looks fantastic, which is the whole point. These cards are supposed to be basically intermixed, and they're little celebrations of the team as you run into them. That's a real strong part of the design. So I think it looks really good, but it could be better. The white border is the only thing that holds it back. Where when we jump over to the 5th best of all the designs, we go over to Stadium Club, which actually is, well, I don't want to say that it is the exact equivalent of it, because the rock design behind John Sally is good, but it's not the same. It's got a trick to how it's designed that's strong. I like how it looks. The portraits aren't as tight as with Topps. I really like how the tight portraits carry so well in the Topps cards, whereas for here, the players gets a little bit lost. But you can also see that with the Vancouver Grizzlies, they have a whole different design with the basketball print and the halo almost. All of those components working together make these cards look really good, again, because they're special cards that pop up in the card set. And you can tell because down at the bottom you have the text box, which has the ridiculously gaudy and over-the-top prismatic foil box with the red or blue, depending on if it's hobby or retail, that foil text box inside that is just so over the top in order to be a grand fun celebration, and then it succeeds at that. And then it also has that ghosted thing of the team color. I don't know how to describe it, but it gives a nice little quirk to it. Overall, I look at this card and I go, this is a fun, interesting card, but it's not a great card. Frankly, if I took that Topps card and I just sheared off the borders, you'll see that it is a much better card than the Stadium Club card, but because of the borders, the Stadium Club card reads better. Still, between the two of these, they're almost great cards. I do like them both, but again, this is the low water mark. This is as bad as it gets. So as we move further up to number 4, we go to, well, frankly, we go to 95 Fleer. And right there, if I had just said 95 Fleer and you weren't looking at the card, you'd be afraid. And okay, well, I'll give you credit that the Vancouver Grizzly card isn't quite as good. When I show you what the Toronto Raptors cards look like, these are a lot better. I wanted to kick it off with the Grizzly card because I'd love to just do all Toronto Raptors showing off these designs, but I want to be fair to the two different teams. And with the Grizzlies, it's such a distinct design on the Fleer card that still looks good. The Vancouver Grizzly card is still one of the best designs of all the designs in 95 Fleer. Great success in making still over-the-top, way overdone cards that have a fun, fascinating quality to them. I do prefer the Toronto Raptors cards by a long shot, but even to me, even the Vancouver Grizzlies cards look better than the two Topps entries. And yeah, still better than most of the other 1995 designs across the board. I do like how these look, but again, the reason I like it is because this is a one and done. This is the grand celebration. Sure, knock yourself out. At number 3, I am staying with Fleer, but I'm going over to Ultra. And actually, kind of like with Fleer, Ultra did not have a good 95 design. It had a passable design, but not a good one. But when we look at these cards, this is kind of a, how in the world did this appear in this card set, kind of a design, which is not fair because I think that the rookies also look really good. The thing is, the way that they designed this card is so different from any of the others because it's so refined. It's almost intricate in how it's crafted, and yet it's not really finely detailed. It's just they did a couple of things, but they did them in the right way, so the whole card has a really fascinating mood to it. The portrait of the player is strong enough that you can definitely see him. I mean, some cards obviously more than others, but then you have the kind of team color backdrop that's really out of focus, which gives the ability for the player to still exist in the space but be focused on, or allow the audience to be focused on him. And then that strip runs down the side that is offset just a little bit, that gives the character to the design, whereas that faded background, it gives the character of the mood of the card. And the two of them work together to create a really interesting and unusual card for us to run into. And frankly, if you go back and you look at the Topps design, you'll see it also has the team name stripped down one side, the same design idea, and it also has some similar qualities to it. But Ultra just has the fanciness that you would expect from Ultra. It comes through great. And obviously this is not the greatest card design in the world, but still it is a surprisingly impressive card for the year. And basically, I'm not saying this is the card to collect of a player. What I'm saying is when you're collecting cards of players and teams, these cards are so much fun to have a part of the collection. But number 2, I got to go with Hoops. And I was expecting for Hoops to be a little further down on the list, but I couldn't help myself. I love this card. I flat love this card. And in fact, if you asked a kid which of all of these 6 designs do they like the best, this is almost the card they would pick. And the reason I say almost will make sense in a minute, but this does all the things that you want for a card to do for a kid. It's got some bold colors. I like the faded colors that are tilted, especially the green down at the corner does a great job of really popping right off the card. Really quite impressive. And then you have the text. The gold foil text is not quite lined up with it, adding to the tension of the card and giving it that kind of rough and rugged, almost not designed feel to it. It's kind of a graffiti-like look, which works well on the card because it adds a punch of energy to correspond with the fun of the top, where they have that wonderful logo of the team in deep, rich colors. That combination is fantastic, and it's cool that the logo fades into the middle color fade, or middle color section on the card. It adds some intrigue and some mystery on the card, and the player does kind of run together in the card. I mean, this is more a card rather than a celebration of a player, but that's the whole point of the card, and that's what I like so much about it. Was when I look at it, I'm just thinking about the new franchise. That's all I'm thinking about, and I think it's really strong. But like I said, if you asked a kid which of the 6 designs they go with, I'm pretty sure they go with Skybox. It's all about the logo. And, well, actually, it is all about the logo. I mentioned there are 5.5 cards in this list, and that's because these aren't actually player cards. You'll notice that it says Team Facts, and that's because this is a team card. It happens to have a player on it, but they also have NBA expansion cards as well. So they have both of those going on in the set, but they're both team cards. The reason that I pulled these 2 cards aside specifically to look at is because they're kind of player cards. Because look, you got John Sally, and that Greg Anthony, I think, is the other player. So they do show up on the card, which makes them collectible cards about them. But I would like to have seen them in their new jerseys as opposed to their old jersey. Then the card would have been perfect. But even though they're not, I love how bold, over the top, and I just really like these cards. I think they're fantastic. And as much as I think that the Hoops card is a better complete composition because of the fact that the players are in their uniforms, this one, the logo, it's all about the logo. And that's what puts it over the top for me, where when I look at this card, I just go, I cannot wait for the season for this new team, which is the whole point of doing this. All of these designs are supposed to do that. And none of the cards do it better than Skybox, although again, with Skybox, they're doing it for the team specifically. So it's a bit of a cheat, but still, I mean, this was what collectors for Toronto and Vancouver, what they got to start out with, and can you blame any of us for starting to collect these teams? It was great, and I kind of wish that I continued with it, but frankly, by the time Vince Carter came out, there was no way I could keep up with his cards because he was the rookie of the year in his year. So it was, I needed to step away. But I mean, looking at these cards, it is kind of a homecoming for me. It reminds me of just why I was excited to be following the team. At any rate, that's my list of the ranking all of the NBA expansion card designs for 1995. So let me know in the comments below what you think about it, and let me know if you think that one of the card designs from another one of the sets, which I didn't consider to be worthwhile, if you felt that one of those should have been on the list. Do let me know about that. Other than that, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And thank you very much for watching.